Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to CISA This Much. This is Aditya, and today we have with us a special guest come student. So let's wait for him.
Hi
Hi,
Aditya,
hello. Hi, Prem. How are you?
I'm doing
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So basically, he is Prem Kumar Subramaniam, and I would like to brief his background. So basically, he is a chartered banker from Chartered Banker Institute UK. He's a CMA from US. He is CFE from AICFE US. He is MBA from IIM Kozhikode. He is Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer from ISACA, and he is incidentally also a senior member of ISACA Silicon Valley local chapter. Okay, so Mr. Prem, so the first question I would like to start is, after having so many educational qualifications and so many years of experience, what is that one thing which made you do CISA?
I think I should have done Aditya. Thanks, Aditya. Okay, for calling me and having this short experience sharing. I would say. Okay, so your question is what made me to do CISA? I think I repent. I should have done CISA long time back. I think CISA is a mandatory thing, especially today with the pandemic. What we are seeing, I think there are the all the businesses are mostly in digital form. Work is also remote, so
Correct.
there are a lot of cyber crimes, and there is a great demand for security breaches and other things, wherein an IT auditor's role plays a lot. So I think what made me to do, in fact, I'm repenting that I should have done it long time back, but better late than never.
Okay, okay. So basically, guys, he has qualified his CISA a few months back. So again, the second question which I would like to ask you is, how did you find Aditya's this much learning solution? How did my course help you to clear the CISA?
Well, Aditya, I mean to say there are a lot of books available for CISA. There are lots of dumps which are available, I think, in the Google. There are a lot of guaranteed pass, there are a lot of warranted pass and other things. But finally, I think a lot of actually paid work happens by the candidates who actually prepare for CISA. Now, why Aditya this much is I was actually looking, I found actually a couple of service providers who were actually saying that, I work with Oracle. So, in fact, we had even also about two service providers who came in who trained in for about 4 to 5 days. But 5 days of training is actually, it is just like almost like it is not a open brain surgery wherein the concepts are poured in and the student is not able to digest, because it's not a memory based examination, it's a more of application based examination. So what I found actually in Aditya this the CISA this much is it is a kind of one stop destination wherein concepts, where the focus is more on concepts. So I think nowhere I could find, probably I think the concepts are being taken really to that level. In fact, the I knew about Trojan virus, but I never knew exactly why exactly it was a Trojan. And I think you are one of the videos which exactly talks about the Trojan horse, and that exactly makes the concept much more clear. So that is exactly the distinguishing point which is not available. But apart from that, I did refer, I think, a couple of books also, like the CISA student review by Hemang Doshi, which I would recommend, which is also needed. But then the point is that in your course, I think you have covered almost everything. I think you've gone. In fact, I would say it is not CISA this much. According to me, it is CISA too much. But that too much is actually required for you to clear the examination, to feel very confident to write the examination. And the way, like, you have taken certain concepts like virtualization, containerization, the way you have explained the concept for the public key infrastructure and the digital signature, I mean, just making some of those important concepts which are there in CISA. I think you have really gone to a great extent. And the best part, what I really liked, I think, which is not available in other course service providers, is actually you are discussing the questions, you are giving the shortcuts, you are actually emphasizing on couple of points. And then I think the biggest USP of CISA this much is the personal this one. I mean to say, many times I have called you in the middle of the night, because since I stay in the US and then we are geographies apart and there are time zone differences, but you have promptly actually answered, even though if there has been some slight delay, because I think you might be sleeping and it might be my day, and then probably you might have replied and I would be sleeping. So so those are a couple of things which actually made me, and I think I don't regret actually taking the decision of actually taking up your course, because I think the rewards are actually a lot actually once you qualify CISA.
Okay, thanks a lot, Prem. So okay, so now I like to ask you a few questions which I get normally. A lot of people ask me this question, that there are a lot of working professionals. Okay, so they have left their studies long back. So their question remains like this: that will they be able to crack this exam? Is the exam very difficult? Will they be able to devote time, because all are working professionals and you are also a working professional? So what do you think? So is it that difficult to devote time studying for CISA, okay, when you're doing a job, full-time job?
Well, I don't have a straight answer to your question, because I think there are two parts to your question. One is actually what you said is the difficulty on cracking the examination, and second thing, whether I'll be able to devote or not. Well, unfortunately, everybody has got only 24 hours. Okay, how you allocate your 24 hours is totally dependent on you. But before that, I think I will go to the domain number two, and I would like to relate most of my conversations with CISA, because that is where, because you are a CISA trainer, so you will understand it and appreciate it much more. So when we go to the domain two, we have something called as a goal setting, where we have a vision and a mission. Okay, so in case if you don't have a vision, I mean to say, I don't want to, I want to get qualified as a CISA. Okay. So, and if you don't have that goal, so probably you're not, I think your efforts are going to be very lukewarm. Okay. And then what will happen eventually? What happens, what typically happens with most of the candidates is, people think that, people usually ask, how did you study? How did you study? Well, I have a
Exactly.
very I basically follow a principle of garbage in, garbage out. Stupid questions, stupid answers. So because we are all dealing with IT. So the thing is, how did you study? Yes, I think how you have to study. That's the way you have to study. Now it totally depends. Now people ask a question: how many hours of studies? I would probably tell over here, this examination doesn't actually require you hours and hours of studies sitting in one place. I mean to say, like 16 hours, like 15 hours. No, because everything will probably go tangential. Have rather have chunks, maybe spend about 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. I think I wouldn't say 45 minutes. I know the attention span today, a lot of people are actually suffering from something called as an ADHD, because we have this I mean to say, we have attention deficiency syndrome. So so most of us, we I mean to say, the disease was first actually with the kids, but now I think even adults also have ADHD. But then that's fine, because that is the way we have to go. So what I would suggest is that, rather than having a 45 minutes of studies, I think have it up probably around about 60 to 70 minutes, and then take a break, and then you can do your other work, and then probably again take a stretch of about an hour, or maybe hour or 10 minutes. Because what you need to do is that you will have to take slow chunks, and you will have to digest the information, because this examination is not from memory. Okay, so it is not, basically you're not going to get, it is an application of whatever you have studied, and then you will have to study it continuously again and again to retain it, especially if you have not worked in those specific domains. And again, the way the syllabus has been spread, not everyone would have done all the specific domains. Maybe someone would have done 3 domains or 2 domains of work experience, and maybe a few domains would be totally very different, and they will have to study from their own. So what
Correct.
happens, my suggestion is that basically, for a working professional, you need to be very clear what you want to do. If you want to do it, then you will have to sacrifice your time. Again, I'm not saying sacrificing time means totally cut from your parties, cut from your I mean to say, cut from your TV and other things. In fact, I was doing everything. I was doing everything. I have a hectic job. I was actually watching some stupid sitcoms and other things, because those are all actually required, because you need to be really relaxed to write this examination. The examination is actually testing your nerves and pulses, according to me. In fact, now after qualifying, I think I feel it is not certified information, it is common sense in actually information systems audit, because most of the things are actually common sense. And you know very well, Aditya, that common sense is the most toughest thing actually to get in the world. So having said that, so my idea for my advice to the working professionals is, if you want to do it, you will do it, but don't spread your studies too long. You can, but provided what you do is that you bounce back. So again, I'm introducing domain 4, concept of business resiliency. Come what may be the distractions, you will do that 1 hour religiously, or 1.5 hours religiously, and other things. Because once you complete the syllabus, then the next thing is that you will have to do a lot of practice questions. Then only your brain and mind gets trained, especially in reading the questions. Because I would suggest that probably people have a lot of muscle memory, wherein they probably cram a question, and if the same question comes in with slightly a word twisted, they make a mistake, and then they actually curse that Isaka is very tough, they are they're very cruel people and other things. Well, it is an international gold certification. It has been, the Isaka Institute has been there for about 52 years. I think this is the 52 this is the 52nd year. Okay, so they maintain a certain standard. Whatever you read, that is what you're going to actually practice. Not everything can be mastered, because they are not expecting you 90% to score. They are actually expecting you only about 450 scaled score. Nobody knows how exactly it's being evaluated, but give your best shot. Don't aim for 450, please aim for at least 700, and then do it. Those are my
Yeah.
few my tidbits, or my tips actually, for
No, no,
people.
I completely agree with all your points. And by the way, it was a very detailed answer. Thanks a lot for that. Okay, so let's come to the next question, which is, what according to you will be the future like growth, or the career prospects, the career growth of IT auditors? What according to you is the future demand of IT audits?
Okay. I think IT audit will become an integral and a mandatory kind of knowledge, or a certification, or whatever. And IT audit has been always there from the past. What will happen is that, but it was only being done by only by few people. But now what is going to happen? I think everyone is going to have that knowledge of security. So I think now you must be aware that I think most of the employees are being trained on phishing,
Yes.
because because phishing is something like, you get from phishing, you get into a ransomware, and I mean to say, your data gets lost and other things. And we are now almost in a kind of a virtual world. So the growth, according to me, in IT audit is going to be phenomenal. Now, when I look at the finance professionals, especially the accountants, the public accountants who actually love to do this program, because I think they come from an audit background, or from an accounting and an assurance background, they love to do this, because the reason is everything is actually now in systems. So from a general audit, because I was a general auditor, I was an internal auditor, and from internal audit, I think the thing is that I would like to move into systems audit. Now, you must be also aware that AICPA is changing their CPA program. They are introducing, actually from 2024, they are introducing a elective paper, and one of the elective paper is actually on information systems audit, which means that demand for they have realized and they wanted to have the IT audit and assurance controls subject in their curriculum. So which exactly means that is a huge demand. And in fact, what I, according to me, this will become a mandatory thing for everyone to know. It is not going to be a specialized, it will become a generic, everyone must know. Again, you will have again levels. You want to be a cyber security auditor, or you want to be a general logical access and physical access auditor, or you're going to actually do an audit of for I mean to say the hardware or the software, or the entire process. So it's just going to be a matter of time. And then there is a great demand of cloud audit, which is picked up. ISACA and Cloud Security Alliance has actually partnered, and they have started a program called CCAK. So the journey does not stop actually at CISA. It is just the beginning. It has to extend to cloud, because everything is now going to be in cloud, and cloud is no
Correct.
more a far thing. It is a reality.
Correct. Correct. Agree with your points. So, okay. Okay, so now again, I would like to ask a question about my institution. So basically, you are having more than a lot of years of experience in IT. So and there are so many like video courses available in the market. So just to ask you this question, that what made you choose my lectures, to associate to join my course, because there are so many courses available in the market. And again, this is a very frequently asked question, that which course to join, and what should be your basis of the decision when you want to join a CISA course.
Well, I think everybody's way of studies is slightly different. Some people like to do a self study, but sometimes what is actually required is a kind of a personal coach. The second thing is that which I got from your course. The second thing is that since I am sitting in a different time zone, and sometimes attending a live course is actually not going to help, because sometimes what will happen, the human brain, sometimes what happens, it switches off when you're listening, when you're passive listening and other things. So in your course, since the course is already done, and exactly you're going to, we are listening to the videos again and again, you have a lot of actually flexibility in terms of speeding the course. You can pause, you can listen to that again and again. And well, I think, Aditya, I really like your style of actually encircling a particular keyword in a question. Those are some of the important things which exactly drives, because what happens is when you're writing the examination, you feel like probably Aditya is talking, actually whispering in your ears. That's very important, and that is called as kinesthetic learning. So I am a kind of a guy who actually learns with this one. There were a lot of visuals. There were a lot of things. You have used so many pictures. You have used so many pictures, especially in domain 5, which exactly makes the concept very easy, because when you look, when you hear, you learn more there rather than when you study. I mean, it's a kind of a combination. Again, there are going to be people who are going to say, no, I think I don't believe it. I think we are not in a debate. Everyone is different. But what is
Hmm.
very special is, I think I gave you an example, I think just about a couple of minutes back, I think on the Trojan horse. I really loved it. So the Trojan virus, everyone knows, but I did not know why exactly I never explored it. And you went in your videos, you went a little, you went overboard in explaining the history of why the word Trojan actually in the horse and other things. So what happens, just by seeing that video, you're not going to actually forget the what is the Trojan virus. Rather than, what happens is that when you start cramming in, okay, Trojan virus, Trojan virus, Trojan virus, you are definitely going to get panic. Because what happens, I'll tell you why many people fail in CISA. I think this is according. This is my analysis. What happens is, it is bit dry. It is at times, actually, if you don't have a background, then it becomes still more challenging. Second thing is that when you start reading CRM, everything starts going tangential, because CRM is actually a manual. It is not a student guide. Okay, a manual is always written in a legal lexicon. Okay, so it is bound to be referred. So now once I have qualified, and then once I get my certification from the institute, and then once I start practicing, I'm going to refer to that manual again and again. So people actually make a mistake. People say that you have to read the CRM. CRM is mandatory, but the first thing is that you need to have a student guide. Now, the point is that in your videos, what the best part is, like, okay, the one more USP what I found in your courses, there are other course providers actually. I think so. They finish the program, and then maybe 30 hours or 40 hours or maybe 50 hours or whatever. But I think if you take all your videos, it is more than, I think, 75 hours. I think so. I do not know. I think if you have to keep this one, and there are lots of videos, especially where you discussed how to appear the questions. So that exactly is very important in understanding, because you take the pains of explaining all the options, and then explaining what is there hidden in which option, even though that is not the correct option, which exactly brings in further concepts, so that those concepts are available, which helps you actually in probably tackling some other question. So those are some of the key points which I would say which is available in your course. That's the reason I said it is not CISA this much, it is CISA too much, but that too much is required.
Yeah. So Prem, I would like to add one more question, which again, people just keep on asking me, especially people from finance background, finance professional, accountants. So they are always scared of entering into IT. So they feel like, CISA is only for IT professionals. It is only for people who have experience in IT. Okay, so and they want to enter in IT audits. Okay, so there is a demand in the market, they get jobs, they get opportunities, they want to enter, but the only one thing which they are scared of is learning more and more about IT, and the syllabus coverage. So what, according to you, how can we address this question?
Well, Aditya, I think since I think at the beginning of this interview, I think discussion, I think you started telling about my credentials. I think I am myself an accountant. So the thing is that even I also had the cold feet when I first came into IT. But then I think my advice to all the fellow accountants is, if you don't like IT, I do not know what to tell. Probably you have to find some other profession. I think there is no profession which is actually left today. Entertainment is actually IT. Then banking is IT. Insurance is IT. Medical field is IT. Accounting is also IT. Auditing is becoming more a robotic process. Automations are coming in. You start using Blue Prism in actually doing repetitive works at a faster pace. So I cannot exactly answer this question of exactly like this one, and that is what I was telling, that when AI CPA has recognized the fact that IT audit is definitely a mandatory thing, and that is the reason they did not make it as a core paper; they made it as an elective paper. So I have no, I cannot answer this one. In case if they have a cold feet, they will have to probably, I think. Uh, Come out of the fear, because without IT, I don't think there is any life left now, because we cannot now go back to the ledgers and the writing physical journals,
Yeah.
because now an accounting event also actually, it is not actually, it is a SAP GL. It understands the transaction, and it automatically posts. So I think, according to me, an accountant's role is no more writing physically debit and credit. I think rather understanding if this is the transaction, whether the correct accounting heads have been hit or not. He is going to only see the assurance. Okay, so
Correct.
I think that is again nothing but, I think it is an IT audit only. You're trying to see whether the correct accounts have been posted or not. So you're trying to
Yeah.
give a confidence to
Yeah.
the management, stating that the everything, all the controls like your COSO control or whatever controls you have, it's all being adhered to.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I really don't understand. According to me, I wouldn't say it is an absurd question, because every question everybody has a liberty to ask. But I think it does not make any sense. It's a utopian question. I don't feel like actually doing learning IT. And what do I do? I don't know, because probably I think you are an accountant. Probably can you probably tell to the company, no, 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 let's go back to manual ways. It is actually no. We have come so much actually ahead. Now we are going into cloud. So you will find actually your balance sheets and ledgers postings are happening somewhere in some data center in the cloud. So we only have to believe. You are only expected to know. Yes, you need to know the fundamentals, but again the point is that just the fundamentals are not sufficient. So that's why I'm saying IT audit is no more a specialized knowledge. It is a basic knowledge. According to me, it is required.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Completely agree with your points. And okay, so thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us. And I hope that everyone has learned a lot from the entire session. And definitely, I have tried to answer, the most frequently asked questions. And definitely, I think that the entire session will help a lot of students, a lot of future CISA aspirants. Okay, so thanks a lot. Thanks once again for joining
Aditya,
us. And
Aditya, I would like to add one thing. So, if you want to pass CISA in the first attempt, or if you want to pass CISA, join Aditya this much, because it is too
thank
much, and too much is required to clear CISA. That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much. So I would like to end this session here, guys, and we will again meet with some other person.
I have a surprise for you. So, I think to whatever questions you are asking, I think I have a surprise for you in terms of summarizing. This is again for the audience, and I think for you also. This is what I think I felt. I must thank you.
N- No, no, yeah, the pleasure is all mine that you have joined us, and to be very honest, I am not aware about any surprise.
So this is what a little thing I just wanted to say.
Okay.
CISA this much by Aditya. The 10 pointers, according to me, value for money. I think very very reasonably priced, personalized touch, concepts explained for non-IT professionals, because people who are fresh accountants who do not know technology, I think you have taken the pain. The fourth one is Q&A, Isaka discussed questions. So the Q&A questions of Isaka you have discussed. Then multiple questions you have discussed, giving the tips and tricks to build the confidence. And then the high return on investments in terms of career concepts and etc. Because the thing is, passing the examination, according to me, is only one step. But the thing is that when you go as a CISA certified, when you go for an interview, there is a certain level of expectation. And I think your videos reach, in fact, they give you the impetus actually to have the concepts, so that when you attend an interview, you are more confident. Second thing is that you are a very approachable person, Aditya. I think so. I would say you are the most approachable coach. Then what you do is that you break the CRM. You refer to the CRM multiple times in your videos. So which is what I'm saying is you break the jinx of the CRM manual with your explanations. The ninth point is I can listen to the videos multiple times. That is exactly what I did actually on my final few days. I was listening at 2x, 3x speed. It was just like somebody is chanting at my ears. So that is actually something which is a very unique thing, rather than actually having the other course providers where you will have to do the editing and other things. Yours comes a very very I mean to say it comes, and again none of your videos are more than an hour. I think it is all short ones. So the last one, invest in CISA this much, you will not regret for life. And that's why I
Okay.
said endorsed by Prem. So this
Thanks.
is something
Thanks a lot.
from my signature. And I think what else I think I can give it to you. I think I cannot
Thanks a
exactly
lot.
tell anything more.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. To be very honest, I was not expecting that so much. So I would like to end this session here, guys, and we will again meet with some other person